ADR. Promoting dialogue.
Good evening and many thanks for staying tuned to West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and around the world on wadr.org. Welcome to Newslink. Here are the top stories. Burkina Foreign Minister condemns death of activists in Abidjan prison. United States Embassy pauses visa processing in Niamey. Liberia marks 178 years of independence with reflections on progress, challenges and hope. A minority in Ghana's parliament urges Attorney General to clear up conflict of interest questions.
The incident that happened in Nalero Senior High School is barbaric, is unacceptable, is inhuman for someone to just go into a secondary school. These are thieves to kill somebody just like that.
Let's stay tuned for details of these stories and more.
Here is Imo Edit with Newslink.
Many thanks for joining our broadcast. Let's begin in Côte d'Ivoire, where the death of Burkinabe political activists in detention has sparked new concerns over the treatment of prisoners and rising tensions between Abidjan and Ouagadougou. Alain Christophe Traoré, also known by his activist name Ali Nofaso, was found dead by hanging in a cell at the Gendarmerie Academy in Abidjan on Thursday, July 24. He had been held for over 7 months of multiple charges, including espionage and conspiracy against the state. Responding to his death, the Burkinabe government strongly criticized the Ivorian authorities over their handling of his death while in their custody. Well, we will bring you that report much later on. Meanwhile, Ivorian Transport Ministry says 16 people were killed and 51 others injured on Sunday in a collision between a bus and a truck in a northern region of the country. The crash occurred at approximately 6 a.m. local time when a passenger bus traveling from the coastal city of San Pedro to Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso, collided with a dump truck equipped with a crane. In Côte d'Ivoire, the appeal court in Abidjan this Monday delivered its final verdict in a case involving 13 individuals accused of operating one of the most sophisticated drug trafficking rings in the country. Among those whose convictions were held in Miguel de Vesa, a former Spanish police officer believed to be the mastermind of the network. He, along with 4 other defendants, was sentenced to the maximum term of 10 years in prison, a penalty that reflects the scale and seriousness of the operation. In Mali, tensions remain high in the political and judicial landscape as former leaders of political parties dissolved by the transitional authorities in May 2025 continue to challenge the legality and impact of that decision in court. This Monday morning, the Bamako Commune 1 court once again held a brief and inconclusive hearing reflecting the mounting procedural delays surrounding this contentious case. The political leaders argued that the dissolution order infringes upon fundamental freedoms enshrined in the Malian constitution, particularly the freedoms of expression, assembly, and political participation. According to the lawyers, the move to dissolve over 100 political parties and associations was a sweeping action by the junta, widely viewed as an attempt to neutralize dissent and tighten its grip on power out of what was previously planned democratic transition. The hearing had also been postponed due to the absence of state representatives. This morning session ended quickly again, this time with the judge announcing a new date for pleadings, Monday, August 4. Lawyers representing the dissolved parties say they remain hopeful that the court will strike down the decree and restore political freedoms, but they also expressed concern over repeated delays. Well, let's take you now to Ghana, where the government has imposed a new curfew in Baku, Nalerigu, and surrounding communities are now running from 2 p.m. to 6 a.m. daily, following a deadly surge in violence that claimed the lives of 3 students. The revised restriction in the towns located in the Upper East and Northeast region, which took place on Sunday, July 27, 2025, as part of a broader security response involve increased military presence and the evacuation of students from high-risk areas. Nadia in Accra report.
On Saturday night, 2 students were shot and killed at Nalerugu Senior High School in the Northeast region. The same night, a final year student at the Boku Senior High School in the Upper East region was also killed in the school in a separate shooting. The attacks are believed to be linked to the long-standing Boku chieftaincy conflict. Member of Parliament for Nalerugu Gambaga Nuruddin Mohammed Mumuni condemned the killings in Nalerugu.
The incident that happened in Nalerugu Senior High School is barbaric, is unacceptable, is inhuman for someone to just go into a secondary school. These are thieves to kill somebody just like that. It's unacceptable, and as an MP of the area, I condemn it 100%.
In response, the government has deployed more troops to the affected areas and ordered the evacuation of students from high-risk schools to prevent further violence. A revised 2 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew has taken effect in Boku, Nalerugu and nearby communities following the deadly attacks. Earlier in the week, the chief of the Kusasi community in the Ashanti region, Na Abdul Malik Azembe, was shot dead at his home in Asawase. Another man was killed in the area just days later, sparking fears of reprisal attacks. A statement from the presidency signed by spokesperson Felix Kwachu-Fusu said the country was moving from peacekeeping to what it called peace enforcement. The Ghana Armed Forces has been directed to take all necessary steps to protect lives and maintain order. The statement also recognized efforts by the Tumfose Tutu II, the Nairi and the Zugrana, noting their mediation had brought the peace process close to resolution before the recent flare-ups. A ban on weapons remains in force in Nalerugu, and residents have been urged to obey all curfew regulations. Security agencies have launched investigations as pressure builds for swift and decisive action to restore calm in the Upper East, Northeast and Ashanti regions. For WDR, Nadiri Tete, Accra.
Let's take you back to Cote d'Ivoire, where the appeal court in Abidjan this Monday delivered its final verdict in a case involving 13 individuals accused of operating of the most sophisticated drug trafficking ring the country has ever seen. Among those convictions were upheld in Miguel de Vesa, a former Spanish police officer believed to be the mastermind of the network. He, along with 4 other defendants, were accused to the maximum term of 10 years in prison, a penalty that reflects the scale and operations of the man. Abdullah Hassan has the details in this report.
Authorities say an investigation has been launched into the cause of the accident. In Côte d'Ivoire, road accidents continue to claim lives at an alarming rate, sparking urgent calls for stronger road safety measures across the country. In the first half of this year alone, several major accidents have left dozens dead and many more injured. In January, a devastating crash between a freight truck and a passenger bus in the town of Ponanwinlo killed 17 people and injured 23 others. Just a month earlier, in December, 26 people died when 2 minibuses collided in Brokwa in the central west of the country. 10 of the victims were burned beyond recognition after the vehicles caught fire. According to figures from the Ivorian Ministry of Transport, these incidents are not isolated. Across the country, road crashes kill between 1,000 and 1,500 people every year. Experts say the common causes include speeding, reckless overtaking, poor vehicle maintenance, and a lack of enforcement of traffic regulations. Motorcycles are frequently involved, particularly in urban centers like Boake, where a 2018 study showed that motorcycles were implicated in nearly 70% of reported road crashes.
That was Francis Boniface on the report of the 16 people that were killed and 51 others on Sunday in a collision between a bus and a truck in the northern region of the country. Now, the United States is pausing all routine visa services at U.S. Embassy in Nigeria and capital Niamey until further notice. The July 25 dated cable did not provide a reason for the move, but a State Department spokesperson said the pause, which would cover all immigrant and non-immigrant visa categories, was in place until Washington addressed concerns with the government of Niger. The spokesperson did not provide further details on the reason, but said that most diplomatic and official visas were accepted from the pause. Augustin Kohli completes the story.
The department spokesperson said the Trump administration is focused on protecting the nation and its citizens by upholding the highest standards of national security and public safety through its visa process. The diplomatic cable also instructed consular officers in other visa processing posts to apply heightened scrutiny when assessing immigrant visa applications for Nigerian nationals whose overstay rates, it said, were 8% for visitor visas and 27% for student and exchange visas. According to the spokesperson, the U.S. Embassy in Niamey has informed all individuals impacted. The U.S. military in September said it had completed its withdrawal from Niger after the West African nation's ruling junta in April 2024 ordered Washington to withdraw its nearly 1,000 military personnel from the country. It was an embarrassing setback for Washington that followed a coup in the West African nation. Before the coup, Niger had been a key partner in the U.S. fight against insurgents in the Sahel region of Africa who have killed thousands of people and displaced millions more.
Augustine Koli filed a report. In Nigeria, a tragic boat accident has once again plunged communities in Niger State, north-central Nigeria, into mourning following the capsizing of a passenger boat on the Shiroro Dam waterways. Several passengers are feared dead, with ongoing rescue efforts as authorities scramble to determine the extent of the casualties. WDL's Usman Marin Abuja report.
The Saturday morning calm of the Shiroro Dam in Niger State was shattered when a local passenger boat capsized between the Sherin Waterway and Kwata Market in Zumba, Shiroro local government area. Eyewitness accounts say the ill-fated vessel was ferrying 43 passengers to the popular Kwata Weekly Market when disaster struck around 10 a.m. A joint team of marine police and local divers was quickly deployed to the site to conduct search and rescue operations. Police authorities say they received an alert on the incident and immediately swung into action, but as of the time of filing this report, no official figure has been released on the number of lives lost. However, Yahuza Alawa, a resident of the area who spoke to WADR on Sunday, says 43 passengers were on board, but only 3 persons who survived the capsize have so far been accounted for.
It was a boat carrying passengers from Ashadna. The people are from Ashadna. They are from Ashadna, Guni Ward, in Munya local government, coming to Zumba Market. There is a market there. We call the market Kaswar Kwata. So they are coming to the market. There were at least 47 in number inside the boat. They hit a tree. That is what caused the accident. So only 3 of them were able to be free. There are rescue operations still going on at the place. I visited the market so many times. I have seen how they were doing overload in their boats. And the issue of jacket, there is nothing like jacket. They didn't wear anything. I mean the passengers.
The latest incident underscores a worrying trend in Nigeria, where boat mishaps often caused by overloading, poor safety compliance and lack of life jackets continue to claim innocent lives, particularly in rural and riverine communities. The Niger State Police Command has reiterated its warning to boat operators, urging strict adherence to safety protocols to avert future tragedies. For Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, Usman Umar reporting from Abuja.
Liberia marked its 178th independence anniversary, a moment of reflection for Africa's oldest republic. Since 1847, the country has navigated civil conflicts, economic instability and public health crisis. This year's theme, One People, One Destiny, Healing the Past, Building the Future, underscored ongoing efforts to reckon with a difficult history while looking ahead. Celebrations in Monrovia and other regions brought together citizens, government leaders, diplomats, and 4 African heads of state, offering both ceremony and a sobering reminder of the work still to be done. WDL's Abraham Parker report from Monrovia.
Red, white and blue filled the streets of Liberia and beyond, marking 178 years of independence, a symbol of pride and hope. Presidential envoy Dr. Emmett Dunn acknowledged progress but warned that corruption, inequality and drug abuse continue to hold the country back. He urged President Bouaka to take firm action.
Too many of our people go to bed hungry while a few grow rich by the minute. We We must reimagine a Liberia where opportunity is not reserved for the connected, but for those who are committed. So I encourage you, sir, to lead boldly, challenge the old order, empower the next generation, fire and don't suspend, enforce the law.
ECOWAS chair and Sierra Leone's president Julius Matabio stressed the need for regional unity.
ECOWAS, there will be disagreements. Sometimes they are loud, sometimes they're hot, but the family must remain and continue. We may argue, but we must not abandon one another.
President Joseph Yuma Boaka, during his address, admitted that economic hurdles remain, starting hard transport and import goods affecting everyday Liberians.
I am establishing a high-level presidential ad hoc committee to investigate these disparities and recommend practical solutions. The committee will work and submit a comprehensive report within 45 days with clear recommendations to restore fairness and stability in our market system.
As Liberia marks its independence, the day served as a moment to reflect on past struggles, present challenges, and the road ahead. For Newslink on WADR, Abraham Parker, Monrovia.
You're listening to Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Here is a reminder of our top stories. Burkina Faso Foreign Minister condemns death of activists in Abidjan prison. United States Embassy pauses visa processing in Niamey. Liberia marks 178 years of independence with reflections on progress, challenges and hope. And still ahead, minority in Ghana's parliament urges the Attorney General to clear up conflict of interest questions. We don't have a guest interview and sports news. Please stay with us.
West Africa Democracy Radio. It's you speaking.
Don't forget we are streaming live on wadr.org, YouTube and Facebook. Now let's bring you more stories from Ghana. First in Accra, the minority caucus in the country's parliament has called on Attorney General and Justice Minister Dr. Dominic Akurintinga Ayine to clarify concerns surrounding an alleged conflict of interest stemming from his previous legal work. Recall during his parliamentary vetting in January 2025, questions emerged over Dr. Ayine's past representation of Cassius Mining Limited, an Australian gold company involved in a high-value arbitration case against the government of Ghana. Minority MPs argued that such past client relationships could compromise his impartiality as the nation's Attorney General.
Has Dr. Dominic Akurintinga Ayine in the past acted for Dr. Kwabena Duffuor and Unibank in the case of the Republic versus Kwabena Duffuor and 7 others? Is Dr. Ayine now the Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana? The deputy referred to him as the Attorney General, and today he has granted a press conference acknowledging that he gave out the press release and he tries to justify why he entered the nullius prosequi. Ghanaians would want the Attorney General to explain to us in full the extent of conflict of interest using Dominic Ayine as defense counsel and Dominic Ayine as the Attorney General. This he failed in the press conference to tell Ghanaians that he had acted for Unibank and that he had acted for Dr. Kwabena Duffuor. So I think he owes us as a country a duty to explain to us why and the extent of this.
Representative of Ghana's minority caucus in the country's parliament. Well, staying in Ghana, the Economic and Organized Crime Office, ECO, has completed its investigations into 2 high-profile cases, including those involving Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Wotumi, Antwi Boasiako, and the former Chief Executive Officer of the National Buffer Stock Company, Abdul Hanan Wahab. Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayine, speaking at the Government Accountability Forum Monday, confirmed that the probes have wrapped up and that findings will be made public shortly. The cases are part of the broader Operation Recover All Loot Oral initiative that aim at recovering allegedly misappropriated state funds. Dr. Aine also revealed that the Criminal Investigations Department CID has concluded its inquiry into the Akonta mining controversy, with case files now submitted to prosecutorial authorities. Those involved in these investigations are expected to face charges in court soon.
Now, a report on the docket for the oral cases, including the mathematical sets, the All Africa Games, and the drip scandals, are being prepared by the National Investigation Bureau for my attention. I expect to receive that investigative report in a few weeks for work to begin on filing charges in court. The Economic and Organized Crime Office has completed investigations in respect of Wuntumi, Chairman Wuntumi, and the former National Buffer Stock Company CEO, Mr. Abdul Wahab Hanan, and their accomplices. The results of both investigations will be announced very soon. The police CID have also completed a docket on the Akonta mining case and submitted same to my office. We have prepared charges and sent them back to the police CID for the suspects to be formally charged before their arraignment in court in the coming days. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, my fellow countrymen and women, in conclusion, I wish to remind you of the fact that when I announced the Kobina Edubohin investigation, I was blunt in stating the fact that I am open to engaging in plea bargaining with those who have been investigated and found to have looted or stolen state resources. I minced no words about my intentions and will therefore not shut the door to any accused person willing to enter into negotiations with my office for purposes of reaching a plea agreement. My approach is in consonance with the central plank of the oral, which is to recover all the loot.
Ghana's Attorney General Dr. Dominic Aine speaking there.
Politics, analysis on major news, social matters, and all. This is A Guest.
Now, Benin has extended an invitation to the Alliance of Sahel State AES to participate in its August 1st military parade to be held in celebration of the country's National Day. While likely symbolic, the move is being seen as a possible diplomatic overture despite lingering tensions with neighboring Niger and Burkina Faso, both AES members, along with Mali. To help us better understand the significance of this gesture and what it might mean for regional relations, we're joined now by guest Morgan Asogba, Beninese international relations expert.
Well, it doesn't mean anything else than what Benin has been trying to display since a while. The willingness to find a way to put things together in order to allow Benin and its neighboring states to maintain the needed type of harmony in order to deal with region disposition, in order to make sure that the borders are open from Benin side.
How is this gesture likely to be received by the AES countries?
I do think that as far as Benin has been working behind scenes to make sure that things work, it's obvious that on the other side of Niger, there is a work being done, because when you look at the general view, when it comes to the Sahelian states, and there are various attitudes recently towards the ECOWAS, it shows that they have as interest the improvement of the conditions, the living condition of the people. In other words, they do care about the people. And when you look at what is happening, Niger is likely to take this opportunity to show up, because any different attitude will not be constructive in terms of listening to the need of the people and addressing those needs in a very objective manner.
What are the potential risks or gains for Benin from this outreach?
The first gain, which is very obvious, is that the people will be very happy, because an attendance of Niger means that the opportunity to talk and to really talk will be there. It will not just be about the military parade, but it will also be about discussing the matter at hand, and one of them being opening the borders from the Niger side. So if Niger responds positively to this invitation, obviously we might see in the coming days some critical change in how the two countries will be handling their affairs. And let us also look ahead, because we are faced with a very critical security matter within the whole sub-region. But when it comes to Niger, Benin, Burkina Faso, and Mali, when you look at the border issue, even Togo, you can see that the threat is becoming more prominent, and it has been established that the only way forward in addressing efficiently these threats are the ability of the states to figure out a way to come together, find the needed cooperation to handle in an efficient way these security threats.
Morgan Sogba is a Benin's international relations expert. And in sport news, Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has conferred the national honor of Officer of the Order of the Niger ON on all 24 players of Nigeria's victorious WAFCON team, along with a cash reward of $100,000 and a 3-bedroom apartment for each player. Members of the team's technical crew also received $50,000 each as part of the presidential recognition. The announcement was made during a special reception held in honor of the team at the State House on Monday. Led by team captain Rashida Ajibade and head coach Justine Madugu, the champions arrived at the presidential villa at 4:35 p.m. local time to a rousing welcome from President Tinubu and other dignitaries. The CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations 2024 came to a close on Saturday with Nigeria defeating Morocco in an epic final. The Moroccan hosts led 2-0 at halftime, but were overhauled by the Super Falcons, who finally won 3-2 in Rabat, with Jennifer Echegini scoring the winner for 2 minutes from time. In basketball, Senegal's Lionesses have suffered a second consecutive defeat in the group stage of the 2025 Women's Afro Basketball, falling to Uganda 73-70 in overtime on Monday. In Abidjan, it was a painful repeat of their narrow loss to Uganda at the 2023 edition in Kigali, where Senegal fell 85-83. This time, despite a strong start that saw them lead 8-0 early in the game, Mustafa Gay's squad struggled to maintain momentum. With this second win in as many games, Uganda now tops Group C, while Senegal faces a must-win situation in the playoffs if they hope to advance to the quarterfinals. And we've come to the end of this edition of Newslink from West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Thank you for listening, and many thanks to Failu So and Sheikh Njai for the technical support. Do interact with us via social media platforms X, Instagram at WDR English, and on Facebook, West Africa Democracy Radio English Service. Coming up at the bottom of the hour is our flagship health program, Well Buddy. I am Imo Edet. Good evening.